Hi world, it's Keely and I'm back for another video. This is going to be my October TBR. This is a lot. I have a lot of books picked out and I have a bunch of categories that I am working on. I figured I would just walk you through all of them. It is humid AF today. It's supposed to rain like all day, but it hasn't really, so the humidity is just ridiculous. So you can see I have a fan in the hallway to try to cool off my office because it's just so humid. But I turned it off so that we can get this video filmed without the noise, and I'm gonna die a little bit, but let's just get into it. For October, I have written down in my book journal different categories. The first category that I want to talk about is Victober. I have never participated in Victober as far as I can remember. I know I've definitely had like the intention of participating, but I don't know that I ever followed through. This is the 10th year that they are hosting Victober, which is basically throughout the month of October, read Victorian literature. And there are 10 hosts and 10 challenges. And I have a couple books that I want to talk to you guys about. I'm not really going to focus on any of the challenges. Just the general vibe is going to be that I'm going to try to read some Victorian literature that have been on my shelves for the month of October. I will have all the information about Victober listed down below. There is only one actual novel that I'd like to read in October, and I have had this one on my shelf for years. I've started the audiobook like 10 times and I've just never finished it. And that is a Dickens. It is The Mystery of Edwin Drood. And this one was his final novel, and I know it's like horrifically unfinished, but I have a horror novel called Drood that is based off of this story, and I can't remember who wrote it. I think it's Dan Simmons, something like that. So I will insert a picture right here. It's buried in my shelves over there, but I really want to read that one, and so I was like, okay, this is the perfect time to actually pick this one up, knock another Dickens off of my list, because for years I've wanted to read through all of his stuff. I have on a shelf over here literally every novel that Dickens has ever published. I've read a handful of them, but not all of them. So I would really, really like to read this one. And then I have two collections of short stories that I want to work my way through. One of them is this cool Bram Stoker edition. This is from the British Library. And this one has The Burial of the Rats and Other Tales of the Macabre by Bram Stoker. I've only read Dracula by him. My husband and I listened to it on audiobook a couple years ago together, and I really enjoyed it. So I definitely want to read through this one. Then the final one is a collection of Victorian authors and non-Victorian authors, and I said I wanted to read this one this fall, so this is the perfect time. This one is Damnable Tales, a folk horror anthology, and so it has tales in here from Shirley Jackson, M.R. James, Thomas Hardy, who is a Victorian author. So I did tab off the Thomas Hardy one. I was like, okay, if that's all I get through in October, that's fine, I'll make it count. And that is The Withered Arm, and it has this cool artwork. So I want to start working my way through this one. You can see it's absolutely massive, but I'm going to try to make progress on that one. The next thing that I'm going to be participating in is TBR Harvest. So I've never participated in this one. This is another reading challenge for the month of October. You can take it into other months if you want to. I will have the information listed down below. It is super intense, super involved. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do it. This year, I decided that I will go with the bingo boards. And so every Friday, I don't know if it's every week or every 2 weeks, they will pick 15 bingo balls, and there are a collection of a huge number of booktubers that gave different prompts. I wrote down, I chose bingo board number 8, which so far had a bunch of prompts on it. And then I also chose bingo board number 3, which only had 1 prompt. And so throughout the month of October, I'm going to continue to make reading vlogs where every week I update you guys on the books that are chosen for the bingo boards and which of those books I am finishing. So I do have a crazy stack of books here that I want to work through. Some of them will hit some of these targets. My plan is to try to stick to this really hard and see how many of them I can get read. The next thing that I'm working on is reading down the books that I purchased so far in 2025. So far I have read 39 of the 81 books that I've purchased. That number constantly changes because I will pick up books that I've purchased thinking like, oh, this is definitely one that I wanted to read, and then start reading it and be like, I don't know why I bought this and get rid of it. So as of right now, I'm sitting at 81 books so far in 2025. I've read 39 of them. In order to hit 60% read of those books, which goes towards a different bingo board, I need to read another 10. So that's going to be a category as books that I bought in 2025. And the next section is going to be the greenhouse kind of backlog. So I'm part of Sydney's Patreon, the greenhouse, and I'm part of, because of that, I get to participate in her book club, which is the Nightcrawler book club. So I'll be reading the pick for October. But then also there is like within the greenhouse lore, a backlog of books or a backlist of books that everyone has read or that Sydney has read. And there's been lots of conversation. So I've been working my way through those. Let me show you. I have two sections in my diary, in my journal. One is influenced by Sydney, and so this is a list of like the horror novels and fantasy novels that they have all read, that Sydney has read, and the greenhouse has read, and I have been working my way through them. So things like Bloom by Delilah Dawson, which I read, Slewfoot by Brom, which I read, Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay, which I read, Welcome to the Humdum Bookshop, and I just finished We Still Live Here by Marcus Kluwer, which was also one of those backlist books. I will be working my way through this list, and then this other list is influenced by Reagan from Peruse Project, and so I have a couple books from the library on hold to get through, like The Possession of Alba Diaz, The Bewitching by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I read The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, and then the Scalamanch trilogy by Naomi Novik. These are two lists that I will continue to add to and be working through. In terms of the bingo boards, y'all, I'm trying to do a lot. So I'm doing the bingo board from Hell by Win from Literary Diversions. Read 60% of 2025 purchases is the one that I'm trying to check off. So far, I've been able to check off 10 series tracker, 10 library books, and finish 5 series. I am very close to finishing the 20 nonfiction, and then would like to hit read 60% of purchases. I think that would be amazing. I will also be starting in October the horror bingo. All of these bingo boards, all of this information I will have linked down below. But there is a new year horror bingo, so they're finishing up the one from last year, and they posted the one for this next year, so it goes from October 1st until the end of September. And it's just this big bingo board of different themes within horror to try to hit. And then I'm also working on my diversity book bingo, and I am very close to filling in everything. I am not duplicating any of the sections, so if a book actually fits for more than one, I'm not doing that. I'm only including it for one. So as you can see, I'm very close. So I do need to continue working on that. All right, I think that's, oh no, the final thing is that I am trying to read down my physical TBR in general. So I'm sitting at 217 books unread. By the end of October, I want to hit 200 or less and then continue to work my way down, and we're gonna see if I can work on that. We're gonna see how this goes. All right, so we talked about the Victober books. The Nightcrawler book club from Sydney's Greenhouse Patreon. The pick for October is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. This is the follow-up to her first book, which was The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, that I absolutely loved. She just writes very cozy, comforting fantasy, and so this one I don't think is like an actual like sequel or anything. It's just the second book that this author has published so far that is this kind of theme. This one will count towards reading down the 2025 books that I've purchased, reading my physical TBR, and reading from the Greenhouse book club, the Nightcrawler book club. Then I have some books here that are either backlist, like my backlist TBR books, or books that I just think will fit very well within this season. So we have The Prestige by Christopher Priest, which is like a fake seance, magician thing. I know they made it into a movie. I've watched it once. Can't remember anything about it, but I really want to read this one. I have The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco. This one is on my list because I went out of my way to purchase a copy. I went to multiple bookstores to find a copy. And this one is, I think, a murder mystery that takes place in like the 13th or 14th century, something like that. And then a book I've had on my TBR so many times I've never read is Blackwater Sister by Zen Cho. This one is about a girl that starts hearing the voice of her dead grandmother, and she's telling her like, you need to help finish my unfinished business, something like that. So these are the 3 books that are like my backlist that I want to try to get to in October. I'm reading a shit ton right now, so I know I'm gonna knock out some of these books, but I'm also very much a mood reader, so will I finish all of these books? Probably not, but I'm gonna try really freaking hard. Then I have a stack here of just spooky books in general that I think will be good to try for October. So we have Gone to the Wolves by John Ray. I've never seen anyone talk about this one. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. This one takes place in the 80s in Florida in like the metal scene. I think it might be a satanic panic kind of book, which I typically love. So I'm very excited to try this one. The start of a series, which is spooky. This one is Savis Corax Deals with the Dead by KJ Parker. And this is someone, Savis Corax works in battlefield salvage, where they pick up like swords that are left in fields, get rid of the dead bodies and stuff like that. And it's supposed to be like funny and dark, so I thought that could be fun. Then we have She is a Haunting by Trang Tan Tran, and this is an author that Sydney and the Greenhouse really love and are reading her newest book for the Women in Horror event at the local bookstore where Sydney lives in Indianapolis, called Tomorrow Books. And so since I own this one, I want to read this one and then hopefully be able to get to her next one. And then I have 2 short story collections. So I have Night of the Living Queers, edited by Shelley Page and Alex Brown. And then I have Other Terrors, an inclusive anthology, original tales of horror, Stephen Graham Jones, Elma Katsu, just a whole bunch of people, edited by Vince A. Liaguno and Renee Mason. And it just sounds like it's going to be really fascinating and really fun. I really want to get to these 2. These 2 definitely are from my bought in 2025, I think. I'm pretty sure. So I need to read these 2. And the final stack, y'all, it's a lot. I'm also reading a ton of books from the library on my Kindle. The final stack is books I bought in September that I haven't gotten to yet, or books that I bought so far this year. So we have The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch, which is the start of a fantasy series. We have The Grimoire of Grey Fates created by Hannah Alkoff and Margaret Owen, which is a collection of individual chapters from different authors but set in the same setting about everyone trying to solve, I think, a murder, and it's like fantasy. It's supposed to be a lot of fun, so I really want to read this one. We have Greenwild Book 2, The City Beyond the Sea by Perry Thompson. I absolutely loved the first book, immediately went and got the second book, didn't read it, so I need to read that. We have a short story collection by Margaret Atwood called Stone Mattress. This is supposed to be 9 Wicked Tales. We have The Magic Toy Shop by Angela Carter. This one is very short, supposed to be weird. We have The Bandit Queens by Perini Schroff. I heard amazing things about this one. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore. The Diviners by Libba Bray. This one was not bought in 2025. Well, maybe it was. I don't remember. So we have a short story collection, White Cat, Black Dog by Kelly Link. That one was recommended to me. I want to reread Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice, so I bought this copy. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, which will also be a reread, but I bought that copy this year. And we have The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson, which is a Greenhouse backlist book. And then we also have the 3rd and final book in the Her Majesty's Royal Coven trilogy, Human Rights by Juno Dawson. Okay. That is all the books. I went through everything really, really fast. A lot of these books are going to fit into different categories. Some of them are going to fit into the bingo boards, the TBR harvest, all of that stuff. I'm going to try really hard to keep everything super duper organized. Right now I'm doing a decent job, and let you know week by week which categories all of these books fit in, which one I'm planning on reading that week, which ones I'm enjoying, which ones I'm getting rid of. My plan is to continue to try to not buy any books until I can read down the ones that I've already purchased for 2025. As of right now, I don't have any books on pre-order. I haven't ordered any books that are like on their way to me. I haven't bought any books in a couple days, so I'm gonna try really hard to just continue to read these down. But like I said, I'm very much a mood reader. I'm heavily influenced, very easily influenced by the people that I'm watching on YouTube. We will see how this goes, but I'm gonna try really hard. Let me know if you guys are planning on reading any of these books. Have you read any of them? Are you taking part in any of the many, many challenges that are happening right now across BookTube? Again, I will have everything I can linked down below. And let me know just what you guys are reading in October. And that's it. Thank you for watching.